It was in our too.
Didn't you?
Diane, Rothwell, Portland Street. First, I'd like to say good luck to you, Chief Minikini, in your new position. Having been living in this town as a child, the police department, and growing up with the police officers, Mayor Kimball, the interaction between the youths today and the police department is very important for respect and for us to have an understanding of the children. So good luck to you, and also in that fact, if at all possible, all the other towns are publicizing that they're placing a blue line through their towns in support of police officers and their jobs. If it's possible to have one.
We do intend to do that. As a matter of fact, we're trying to get permission from the county, right?
Actually, we got permission, unofficial permission today. We just have to send the letter to get back the official letter.
Okay. Now, down to real business. I understand that within our town, we have a zoning board, and they set the ordinances up as to whether an area is residential, commercial, and/or industrial, and is it suffice to say that they also set the regulation codes of buildings, structures in accordance with construction, nature and extent of use, and to the dedication of particular uses designed to serve the general welfare, and to regulate and restrict construction that curtails congestion on our town roads, ensure adequate light and air is available by preventing overcrowding of lands and buildings and undue concentration of population within our township. Do we have that in our town, the zoning board?
Yes, we do. You know we have one.
Okay. May I ask who is the CME Associates?
CME, that's Carl Moss.
It's an engineering firm.
That's the engineering.
It's an engineering firm that we utilize.
Engineering firm?
Okay. From what I understand, that they were asked to perform a study on Cortlandt Street. Who asked for that study? Who would have asked them to perform that study?
Wasn't us, when the code enforcement, they come out of my office. I don't know what that study
When
was.
was the study completed?
They were planning.
No, I don't want to get it. You could talk your 5 minutes once he's finished.
All right. All I'm saying is you got the wrong board.
Then is it in reason to believe that the CME provided a copy of the investigation to all the members of the governing body for review?
I think you're talking about the planning.
Okay, so my mistake, I'm sorry.
No, that's no problem.
As I understand, in this study, the report was found, the Cortlandt Street property is currently in accordance to the zoning classification of IB, which is industrial zoning, and that the site is currently developed and suitably used for heavy commercial, industrial uses with occupied residential properties in fair condition and exhibits only minor lack of maintenance, which was depicted in their study and the photos presented by Mr. Mattingly at a previous council meeting. Not that the area is abandoned, dilapidated, or obsolescent. In fact, the owner of the property receives rent from the current tenants and pays this township nearly $100,000 in property taxes. The current zoning ordinance for this area allows a maximum of 3 stories erected and 50% land coverage. To change the zoning to residential according to the township regulations and statutory criteria, the maximum density would be 12 units per acre, with off-the-street parking of 2 spaces per unit and visitor parking of 1 for every 2 units. To pursue the residential development of 115 units on Cortlandt Street property is not in compliance, as the 115 units on barely 2 acres is grossly disproportionate by 400%, and the required 287 spaces not conformed with the 173 spaces provided as per architectural designs submitted by the TMR Associates of Rutherford. At the beginning of the September 27th meeting, Sun Finance addressed the town council by thanking you for the invitation to help Belleville residents who are facing foreclosure. Wherefore, you, as the governing body, has recognized that the residents in our township face desperate financial conditions of affordability or lack of, which is supported by the evidence of 1,000 plus residences in foreclosure, abandoned, and/or for sale. Therefore, I am perplexed by all that I have already stated as to why this council would advance in the continuation of residential development, not only on Cortlandt Street, but in our township, and not to seek to secure viable ratables of retail industrial development as the current market trends support. Our town council members need to stop thinking like individualists with the continuation of pursuing personal ambitions and abetting the behavior of outside developers whose only vested interest is protecting their political contributions because they themselves do not live here. As you prosper the council, the residents in this township and business owners are left behind to deal with the ruination of a previously vibrant, thriving, copious municipality that Belleville once was. The constant irresponsible spending with excessive creation of town positions, the increased employee complement in staff departments, the extravagant salary raises, and the wanton overdevelopment of residential properties are depleting the resources of taxpayers in Belleville. As quoted by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the cure for what ails us is leadership. We need leaders to rise up and initiate a proactive movement that benefits a new beginning, a successful future for this community, for the people and the children, and not let our past mistakes define us, but motivate us for a change.
Mrs. Rothwell, want to finish up, please?
I thank Fourth Ward Councilman John Natari, First Ward Councilwoman Burke, and at-large Councilman Kennedy for having the foresight to recognize that this overdevelopment of residential property is the wrong strategy for this community, and voted against this resolution. I implore the three of you to voice your opinions and support us. For as you support us, we will continue to support you.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me. As homeowners,
No, Ms.
business
Rothwell.
owners, the taxpayers in
You're done.
Belleville
You're
who
finished.
support this town need a break
Ms.
in our
Rothwell.
pockets,
That's it.
not the developers' pockets with a pilot program of $100,000 for 30 years with no tax increases, while both parents of the families in this town work to struggle supporting their families and this mismanaged town. Continued residential development
Mrs.
is
Rothwell,
not right
I do
for
not
this
want to have you
Belleville.
removed,
We
but
need
you're
commercial-
going to abide by the laws of everybody else, okay?
Excuse me.
That's it, you're
You
finished.
seem to apply the rules
You
and
have
the laws
7
of
minutes.
this.
As a matter of fact, you had 8 minutes. You're finished.
Excuse me, but you seem to pick the laws and things that you think
No,
are a
no.
pocket.
No, that's
And
not
if-
true. Your 7 minutes are up, and I'm not going to argue with you. Next.
Excuse me,
Anybody
but
want to
as
speak?
residents, we need to vocalize
Mr.
our
Menikini,
concerns
could you
in
get
the
a
next
policeman up there for me,
election.
please?
And when Mayor Kimball and Councilman Longo seats become available, in the meantime, I will have to take a course of politics, government, so I may challenge
I don't want
for
you
a
to
position
filibuster all
on the
night.
council as a representative for the people that work in this
Thank you very
town,
much.
live in this town, as a minority.
Thank you very much. Thank you.